what's going on? You already know who it is. It's your girl, Red, and I'm back with another video. I want to jump right into this because y'all already see from the title of this video what it's about to be. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a die-hard Michael Jackson fan. Okay? One more time. I am a die-hard Michael Jackson fan. I'm also a really big Aaliyah fan. When the Surviving R. Kelly documentary came out, I was so happy. I had been waiting for years for R. Kelly to be exposed for the pervert that he was. If you watched my last video talking about R. Kelly and Aaliyah, this is not opinion. This is something that was told to me from an immediate family member, that the thing with R. Kelly was true. So for me, that was enough. Like, as being a big Aaliyah fan, that was just nail in the coffin right there. Everything else that R. Kelly did after that was just like icing on the cake. It was just like, damn. And I watched the world kind of turn a blind eye to it, where Michael Jackson was being crucified for years when there was no proof. There was no type of evidence. We had tapes of R. Kelly. We had Aaliyah. He married her at 15 years old. We had all this stuff against R. Kelly, and y'all was stepping in the name of love, but trying to crucify Michael Jackson. So when I made my last video, I had a lot to say, and somebody thought it would be cute to comment that I had a lot to say about R. Kelly, but I had nothing to say about Michael Jackson. So thank you to you. You owe yourself this video. I was trying to stay out of this Leaving Neverland garbage, but apparently in 2019, there are still so many ignorant people out there. You may be ignorant right now watching this. You may not be. But if you are, sit down, grab some popcorn, and maybe learn a little bit. Maybe learn before you start believing this whole Leaving Neverland. I just think it's ridiculous in 2019 that people are not able to think for themselves. I mean, we have Google, we have Yahoo, and all these search engines, and you can't do a 5-minute search before you run around here trying to ruin this man's career. I want to start the video by first addressing the R. Kelly Michael Jackson comparison. Please stop comparing Michael Jackson to R. Kelly. R. Kelly is not Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson is not R. Kelly on any level. Not professionally, and not when it comes to these allegations. There was never any tangible proof against Michael Jackson. Never. There was tangible proof against R. Kelly. We all saw the tape, so stop. Like, come on, bro. Y'all saw the tape. And y'all was still stepping in the name of love. But because somebody made allegations against Michael Jackson, because you thought he was different, because you thought he was strange, you ran with that all the way to the bank. But we got a tape of R. Kelly, and y'all out here bumping and grinding still. Like, it don't make sense. So what I'm asking you to do is please stop with the R. Kelly Michael Jackson comparison, because it is really dumb at this point for me. I have some notes here that I'm going to refer to, because I want to make sure that I touch on everything I need to touch on. I also got my phone ready because I got some screenshots. So this is going to be a little bit of a video. Sit down, get your popcorn, and get ready to actually learn something, because I'm about tired of all the ignorant people out there coming at me, asking me about this dumbass Leaving Neverland, okay? So boom, we talked about R. Kelly. Now, let's start with these allegations, okay? First of all, if you haven't seen my documentary, it's called Moonwalkers. It's right here on YouTube, where 6 Michael Jackson fans, we discuss different aspects of Michael Jackson, his career, his dance, and the allegations. See, when you're doing a documentary, you want to talk about everything. You don't want to sugarcoat nothing. You don't want to turn a blind eye to nothing. You want to address stuff. And what Leaving Neverland didn't do was anything on the other side. You had somebody with a motive. You have Dan Reed. He's a pedophile chaser with a predisposed idea that Michael Jackson was guilty of these things, even though he was acquitted, even though the FBI found nothing on him. After a 10-year investigation, after 2 investigations by the Santa Barbara Police Department, 2 failed attempts to put Michael in jail. After all of that, Dan Reed thinks that with this documentary, aka film, that he's going to prove something that all of them couldn't prove. Where does this all begin? So this begins back in 1993. This kid named Jordan Chandler makes an allegation against Michael Jackson. The first thing I remember about it was Michael coming onto the TV screen. I was home. I don't know why I was home from school on this day, but it was around 12:30ish, 12:45, and I just remember him coming on TV, and of course I stopped, and he had given a press conference, and he was talking about the allegations, and he was talking about how, you know, he was innocent of them, and how he had been subjected to this body search, and they photographed his penis and all this really horrible stuff. And it was really hard to see as a fan, you know, because it was just like, damn. But there's another difference between Michael Jackson and R. Kelly. When this first came out, Michael came out adamantly and was like, listen, no, I've never done this. And he's come out actually several times and said, no, he never did those things. But the press, they don't really play those clips. They kind of just play other strange half clips of him. But anyways, so in '93, this kid, Jordan Chandler, comes out and makes an allegation against Michael that, you know, he molested him or he did whatever he claimed he did to him. But the backstory behind that is it was really the father. It was Evan Chandler. For those who don't know, Evan Chandler was like an aspiring movie director. And, you know, he found out that Jordan Chandler had been spending some time at Neverland. The father approached Michael with some type of movie ideas. Michael really wasn't into funding them. I guess the guy maybe got offended or whatever, and he comes up with this elaborate plan that he's going to get this money from Michael Jackson one way or the other. And you can look this up. You know, he was caught on the phone talking about the extortion, talking about this plan. If he didn't get what he wants, he was going to ruin Michael's career. He had given his son some type of drug. It's like sodium amyloid for tooth extraction. And he was susceptible to, hey, Michael touched you, right? You know, you just like asking somebody when they're drunk or high. Like, it's very subjective, right? So anyways, this whole thing happens with Jordan Chandler, and I think the narrative in the public was Michael was guilty of this because he paid this huge sum of money to this family. It was something like $22 million, $23 million or something like that. But what the general public doesn't realize is at that time in the state of California, it was legal for a civil trial to happen before a criminal trial. Okay? I'm going to go a little slower for y'all that don't really understand the difference between civil and criminal. Civil means for money. Criminal means for the jail. Okay? When you're doing a civil case, you don't need all of the jurors to agree. I believe it's 8 jurors, and out of the 8, only 6 have to agree. In a criminal trial, it's 12 jurors, and all jurors have to agree. Now, if you were being faced with going to the clinker, right, to the jail, but somebody was allowed to do the civil suit first, what that would mean for you is you would have to go to court and chance your fate with only 6 people saying okay instead of all 8. You lay out your whole case, you lay out your alibi and all of that for the criminal people to sit back and watch. So you got prosecutors watching the civil case. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That makes no sense. Why would you open yourself up for the prosecutors to see what the case is going to be before they get to court? So for example, if Michael would have gone ahead and had the civil trial and the kid said, yeah, he molested me on April 1st. And Michael was like, well, no, you know, on April 1st, I was in Belgium. Okay, cool. Now when the criminal trial happens, they're going to be like, oh, no. It happened April 2nd. All they got to do is change the date. So, I mean, it's common sense. Like, you're not going to go through a civil trial, chance losing the civil trial, because you don't need beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, look at OJ. Everybody remembers OJ, right? His was the opposite way, though. They did his criminal trial first. He was found not guilty, but he was found guilty in the civil. But you would never want your civil trial to happen before the criminal, and that's what they were trying to do, okay? I also want you to keep in mind that, I mean, what are you, dumb? You have to be dumb to think that because he settled in the civil and paid the $22 million or whatever it was, that stops the state from pursuing charges against you. One thing doesn't have anything to do with the other. They didn't pursue it because they didn't have a case. Again, they took pictures of Michael's penis. It did not match the description given by this child. I mean, everybody knew Michael had vitiligo, right? Or, oh, I'm sorry, are you still one of those people that said he was bleaching his skin? Because unfortunately, Michael has passed away. And his autopsy report is also open if you want to go Google that and look it up. And it will show you that, among other things, one of the things he had was vitiligo. And if you don't know what that is, also Google can help you, okay? But that's where you lose melanin in parts of your skin, okay? Michael lost it in a lot of different areas in his body. So it's really easy to say, Oh yeah, he had blotches on his penis. Okay, cool. His penis is circumcised. We also know he wasn't circumcised. So no, the description didn't match. So I'm gonna need y'all to stop saying that to me too. I feel like I'm saying like redundant stuff because it's like information that so many people know, but so many ignorant people just are out here talking about, oh, the kid drew a picture of his penis and it matched. No, it did not match. It didn't match. And if it did, the $22 million that was paid in the civil suit would have no bearing on the criminal trial. The DA was never able to bring charges. It failed against 2 grand juries. You know what a grand jury is? Y'all should all know by now. Y'all was all over Jussie Smollett when he went to the grand jury. 2 grand juries was like, nah, bro, that's not nothing to indict Michael Jackson for. So, but this is where it all starts. 1993 with Jordan Chandler and Evan Chandler. Which whom, by the way, let me just say, Evan Chandler is also no longer with us because he committed suicide about 3 months after, it was either 2 to 3 months after Michael died. And I'm convinced that he killed himself out of guilt because of what he did to Michael. He really, really took Michael from here to like here. Michael never recovered from that. So Evan Chandler killed himself. Not only that, after the settlement, the boy, Jordan Chandler, emancipated himself from his family and never spoke to them again. Why do you think that is? Why would someone do something like that at 15 years old? We talked about the photos, we talked about the vitiligo, we talked about the press conference. Here we go. Real quick, the press conference, right? So, let me drop a little clip of the press conference real quick.
I ask all of you to wait and hear the truth before you label or condemn me. Don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent. They served a search warrant on me which allowed them to view and photograph my body, including my penis, my buttocks, my lower torso, thighs, and any other area that they wanted.
Okay, so that's what an innocent person sounds like. This is what a guilty person sounds like.
This is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
I mean, do you see a difference or you don't see a difference? I see a difference.
Robert.
30 years of my career.
One of the things that I always hear is, oh, it's not normal for a 30-something-year-old man to be sleeping in the bed with, you know, a 5-year-old boy or a child, whatever. It's so funny to me that they always emphasize boys when it was well known that there were boys and girls that went to Neverland. And I remember there was a situation where I was at a family member's house and there was a little girl. I'd never met her. And I was not feeling well and I went downstairs and I, was laying in my bed and the little girl's about 8, 9 and she came down and she said, hey, can I lay with you? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And she laid in the bed with me and we watched TV. I don't think anybody thought like anything was inappropriate with that. I think when you're on the outside and you want to point your finger and say what someone else is doing is weird, it's easy to do. But if you followed Michael the way the close fans have and his family members, I don't think that it's strange at all. I mean, shit, if I was going to Neverland and I was 12, I wouldn't want to have left Michael's room either, to be honest with you. And I would have fell asleep right there next to him and been happy about it. But just because someone falls asleep in someone's bed, that doesn't make it sexual. I mean, I'm sorry. You did hear Michael say that before, right? You did actually hear him address sleeping in the bed didn't mean sexual. Because maybe the media didn't play that clip for you. So let me play that clip for you really quickly.
If you're talking about sex, and that's a nut. That's not me. Go to the guy down the street, because it's not Michael Jackson.
It's the guy down the street. It's not Michael Jackson. Leaving Neverland is this one-sided film that was at the Sundance Film Festival. Nobody knew it was coming out. They dropped this thing like it's facts. They're about to tell you facts that you don't know about Michael Jackson and how he molests little boys. And then now mind you, Wade came out with his allegations in 2013. And I remember when he had first come out with the allegations, I was like, Wade? What is he talking about? Because the last thing I had heard from Wade was that he was excited to be choreographing the Cirque du Soleil one show in Vegas.
I'm starting on Cirque du Soleil Michael Jackson show. So it's the equivalent of the Beatles Love show that they have, or the Elvis show, but for Michael, which is you know, exciting and terrifying all at the same time because it's such a huge responsibility. But that was why I took it on. You know, Michael was such a huge part of my career and life. We were friends for 20 years before he passed, since I was 7. So it's an opportunity for me to give back a little bit to his legacy. It's such a big part of his legacy, and to make sure as much as I can that it's done right and that it really represents his essence.
I remembered seeing clips of him on like Hard Copy or Inside Edition, whatever those little gossip shows are, where he was just like talking about how great Michael was and how excited he was to be part of this tribute.
Just had a wonderful relationship. I learned so much from him as an artist and as a kind human being.
Yeah, like that was the last thing I heard about Wade. And then the next thing I heard, he was like, Michael molested me. And I was like, wait. This is not the Wade Robson that testified in 2005. This is not the Wade Robson that in 1993 also gave a statement that nothing had happened to him.
How did you feel when you heard that a boy was alleging that Michael had abused him?
I was shocked too, and I think it's sick, because I know Michael well enough that he wouldn't do anything like that. I know that for a fact.
So I was really confused, and I kind of just dismissed it. So then, fast forward to now, when Leaving Neverland was coming out, I heard about it, and I was just like, whatever. And then I'm like, well, who is it? It's Wade Robson and James Safechuck. Now, I gotta admit, I don't know much about James Safechuck. But I'll tell you a little bit about what I do know about his lying in a little bit. So most of my focus is going to be on Wade, because that's the one who we kind of really know more about. Google is your best friend. All you got to do is Google the transcripts. Now, nobody in their right mind who's not a diehard Michael Jackson fan is going to take the time to Google these transcripts, which is why I've done you the favor and I've done it for you. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read you some of the transcripts, as well as give you like a background synopsis of Wade meeting Michael based on Wade's testimony from 2005, okay? So obviously after 1993, Michael, you know, he took a hit in his career, and then he does this Martin Bashir documentary, and they made it super creepy where he's on the couch with this kid, Gavin Arvizo, and the kid is holding Michael's hand with his head on his shoulder, and they're zooming in. Now, I'm a videographer, man. I know all of that shit is for like shock value. It's like, ooh, get the right angle. So you want to zoom in on the hand and play some slow, weird music, and you want to show the kid, you know, with his head on the shoulder with some weird silence to make it seem creepy. But I mean, I hold my son's hand all the time, and granted, I know that wasn't Michael's son, but the kid had cancer and he'd been there for the kid. So if there's a closeness there, there's a closeness. But the way Martin Bashir spun it, you know, it looked funky. So of course, Tom Sneddon. Do we all know who Tom Sneddon is? Raise your hand if you know who Tom Sneddon is. Oh, my moonwalker there does. Oh, the moonwalker in the back does. Oh, but you ignorant. You don't know who's Tom Sneddon. Tom Sneddon was the prosecutor from the 1993 allegations who had a vendetta against Michael Jackson because he, like many of you, have a predisposed disposition about Michael that Michael was a pedophile. And if that's already in your mind and you hear anything, it's like, oh, yup. Just like all of y'all with this Leaving Neverland. Y'all didn't even stop and say, damn, do this stuff make sense. You already, the only people who believe Leaving Neverland are the people who already thought Michael did this, right? And the only reason you thought that he did this is because you didn't take the time to do research for yourself to figure out that you're talking nonsense. So anyways, Tom Sneddon, he sees this Martin Bashir documentary and he goes, oh, look, he probably molested that boy right there. I'm gonna tell you the sad thing about Michael Jackson. He let the wrong people around him. This family, the Arvizo family, was crooks. They was crooks. They was ripping off J.C. Penney. They was trying to rip off, what is it, George Lopez, Chris Tucker, and then Michael Jackson, right? Supposedly, they said, after the Martin Bashir documentary, Michael Jackson molested the kid. That don't make no sense. That just don't make sense. Michael goes to trial. He's acquitted on everything he was charged with. He was acquitted. His first witness for his case, the first defense witness was Wade Robson. Okay. Now, I'm gonna just go over some of my notes here that I jotted down. So, Currently, today, Wade is alleging that Michael molested him from age 7 to 14. Okay, from age 7 to 14. Wade, according to his 2005 testimony, he met Michael when he was 5 years old, winning a dance contest. And then he didn't see Michael again for 2 years, okay? And at the time, in 2005, when Wade was giving this testimony, he was 22 years old. I'm gonna tell you why this is really important. For those of you who don't know, because I'm sure there's a bunch of y'all that don't, Wade and James have a lawsuit against the Michael Jackson estate, okay? They're trying to get money. Their case got thrown out already. The statute of limitations in California blew, okay? For abuse, for sexual child abuse. The law states that you have 3 years after your adult birthday to report or try to seek damages for child abuse, sexual abuse. That would have meant Wade would have had to do that at what, 21? He did not. Why? Well, because Michael didn't molest him. And when he was 22, he testified in Michael's criminal trial. Currently, he's saying the reason why he never reported it as abuse is because he didn't realize that it was abuse until his son was born. He did not realize that what had happened to him was abuse. He didn't forget it. He just didn't realize that what had happened to him was abuse. I know I keep saying it over and over again because I want you to then, if you watched Leaving Neverland or you read about it, I want you to remember what Wade is claiming Michael did to him. He mentions oral sex. He mentions masturbation and anal penetration. Okay? Wade is saying that he didn't realize until he was in his 30s that that was abuse. Now, why is that important? Because the California law also says it's a loophole. The only way around that statute of limitations is you had to not understand that you were being abused. So he uses the exact verbiage that's in the law. I didn't understand that to be abuse. Okay. So now I want to bring it back to the, let me pull out my screenshots. I want to bring it back to his testimony because I think that the testimony really clearly laid out molestation, abuse, sex abuse. I think it was laid out. So I'm gonna read some of these excerpts from the 2005 transcripts between Wade and Michael's attorney. Okay. You are aware of the allegations in this case, are you not? Wade Robson, yes. And are you aware, as you sit here today, that there's been allegations that Mr. Jackson molested you? Wade Robson, yes. Mr. Robson, did Michael Jackson ever molest you at any time? Absolutely not. Mr. Robson, did Michael Jackson ever touch you in a sexual way? Never, no. Mr. Robson, has Michael Jackson ever inappropriately touched any part of your body at any time? No. Okay, so that Michael's attorney had gotten to this right away. Now I want you to remember, like I said, he was the first witness for the defense. Now let's play devil's advocate. Let's say Michael Jackson really did molest this kid from age 7 to 14. How dumb would Michael had to have been to put this man who he had been sexually assaulting for 7 years on the witness stand? You don't know what kind of duress that person would be under. I don't care what promises he claims to have made about he's not going to tell. Would you chance that with your life? Now I'm going to stop myself right there because that brings up another point. Wade on one hand says, I didn't realize that what had happened to me was abuse. And then in his next breath he says, well, the reason why I didn't tell in the 2005 trial is because I was just trying to protect Michael. No, he was my friend. Huh? Wait a minute. Then he says, well, when I was little, I didn't say anything because Michael used to tell me if they found out what we were doing, we would go to jail. So wait. So Michael told you y'all would go to jail if anybody caught what y'all was doing. Then in 2005, you purposely didn't tell the truth because he was your friend. And now in your 30s, you're like, dang, I think I was molested. I just realized it. No, because that would have meant you realized it when you were 11. That would have meant you realized it when you was 22. That also would have meant that your statute of limitations to sue for money also blew. So let's keep it 100, Wade. Let's keep it 100, but we're gonna get back to that. All right? Boom. Now, he also claims that he was molested hundreds of times by Michael Jackson. Hundreds of times. I'm gonna read you this excerpt. How many times do you think you've stayed in Michael Jackson's room at Neverland? Wade? The same amount of times that I've been there. Well, no, that's not true. I've been there a bunch of times without Michael. Just with other friends and family traveling there. But I don't know. Maybe 15 to 20. Okay, so hold up. You was at Neverland 15 to 20 times. Some of the times in which Michael wasn't even there. But today, in 2019, Wade is claiming he was molested hundreds of times. Bruh, please have a seat. Next question by Tom Mesereau, Michael Jackson's attorney. And at no time has any sexual contact ever occurred between you and Mr. Jackson, right? Never. Okay. Again, it was really clearly laid out to Wade in 2005 about sexual misconduct between an adult and a child, okay? There's no way that in 2019 I'm going to buy the excuse, oh, I just realized it. I just realized now that I was sexually abused. When you were clearly asked, this wasn't like a roundabout kind of question. They were asking you, were you sexually touched, okay? All right. More. Did anything inappropriate ever happen in the jacuzzi? Wade, no. Has anything inappropriate ever happened in any shower with you and Mr. Jackson? No, I've never been in the shower with him. Okay. Mesereau to Wade, is everything you said the complete and honest truth? Wade, yes. Did Michael Jackson ever do anything wrong with you? No. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you notice the lighting changed a little bit? Did you notice that the position changed just a little bit? Well, I'm trying to be like you, Dan Reed. I'm trying to make my own Leaving Neverland. Because we did notice that you reshot the interviews several times. We noticed that the lighting was different. The background was different. The lampshade was tilted. The sunlight coming through the window in the background was different. Even James's chair was different. How you record, right? Somebody talking about their molestation. And then you go back and you record it again because you need another shot. I'm sorry, like, you couldn't rent the same chair? I need y'all to really look at this documentary, man. I mean, it was pieced together pretty shitty if you ask me, because, I mean, Dan, if you were a good director, I'm pretty sure when you dressed James in the same clothes that he had on the first time you interviewed him, and you tried to style his hair spiky, like the first time you interviewed him, that you could have at least got the same chair he was sitting in, bro. He had a big yellow chair. What happened to the chair, bro? They said, you haven't gone back to Neverland since you were 13. And Wade said, I have, not with him. Have you gone back to Neverland since you were 13 and actually stayed overnight? He said, yes. On how many occasions? He said, same thing, 2025. Wade said he was molested hundreds of times until the age of 14. But here, in 2005, he says he didn't even return to Neverland when Michael was there after he was 13. It's just like, I know the details are small, but it's like they're there. And when you're talking about trying to destroy a legacy as important and as large as Michael Jackson, Wait, I'm gonna need you to get your details right. Bro, the same way I got access to the transcripts on Google, so do you. I think you should have went back and you should have researched your own words before you came with this nonsense, because there's too many holes in your story. It don't match up, okay? They asked him if there were ever any girls in the room. He mentions Brandy Jackson, which I thought it was really cool that he mentions Brandy Jackson, because that just solidifies for me everything that Brandy Jackson has been saying. And for those of you who don't know, that's Michael Jackson's niece, who dated Wade during the time that he claims he was molested. So, you know, they knew each other as children. They had crushes on each other. They grew up, puppy love, and then they were, you know, each other's first teenage relationship up until Wade got full of himself and decided he was going to go ahead and cheat on Brandy Jackson with Britney Spears. And he is the reason why Justin told Britney to go ahead and cry him a river. And those of you who know how cheaters are, if you've ever been cheated on, you know how a cheater will lie to you. They will look you in your eye. You hear me? They will look you in your eye and tell you, I never had sex with that person. I would never do that to you. And not blink an eye. The same way Wade is looking y'all in the camera watching Leaving Neverland, talking about, and it happened every time that we were together, he molested me. Really? Hundreds of times, when you just said right here that you only went to Neverland like 15 times while he was there. Bruh, I need you to have a seat, okay? They asked him if they ever cuddled in the bed. Wade said no. Was there any touching? Wade said no. Then the prosecutor, when they cross-examined Wade, they showed him a bunch of porn magazines, okay? And excuse my French, because the titles of these porn magazines are explicit. So if you don't want to hear any explicit names, I suggest you fast forward this. So they show him a magazine called Double Dicking Caroline, okay, where you see women engaged in all types of sexual acts with a man. Intercourse, oral sex, anal sex, whatever. And then they show him a magazine called Stiff Dick for Lynn. And same thing, they show anal sex, oral sex, intercourse. And then the prosecutor says, and you wouldn't be concerned that someone who owns material like this would be sleeping in the bed with a 10-year-old boy? When I tell you they were reaching, they were reaching. They asked Wade if Michael Jackson ever grabbed his crotch while Michael was teaching him a dance routine, and you know how Michael grabs his crotch. Did he ever grab your crotch like that, Wade? You know, like how he grabs his own? Did he ever grab your? I mean, they was reaching. What about a grown heterosexual man having heterosexual porny magazines? I don't know what you call them, Penthouse or these magazines. What does that have to do with Wade? Or sleeping in a bed with a kid? Because I'm pretty sure a bunch of y'all out there got kids. I'm pretty sure a bunch of you guys engage in watching, you know, adult films on the internet or looking at adult magazines, you know, for your own arousal purposes. I don't think that has nothing to do with you sleeping in the bed with your little cousin or your neighbor that you're babysitting. I don't think any of that weighs in on it. So it was just like they were really trying to use anything that they could to try to make Michael out to be this guy that he wasn't. So mostly I focused on Wade. I want to go ahead and focus a little bit on James Safechuck, because I don't really know much about this kid or this guy now. But the one thing I do want to point out about him is his face. I just cannot take this guy's face. He must have practiced that puppy dog, sad, I am so broken face in the mirror for hours, because he just holds it. I don't know if I could do it. I'm gonna try though. Let me see. Did it work? Moonwalkers. Did I do that right? I mean, he looked constipated. He looks constipated. It reminds me of the time I had jury duty, and I remember the woman had, like, it was a civil case. She was suing for money, and she had gotten into a car accident 10 years ago. And when she walked up to the stand, she was, and I'm like, man, my face, I'm on the jury. I'm like looking at the jury members. I'm like, oh man, y'all see this lady? Her back hurt. 10 years later, she hurting like that. She gets up on the stand. Oh, my back is just in so much pain. I'm like, is she lying? I don't buy it. If she would have got up on the stand and she was normal and was like, yeah, like when it happened, you know, my back was hurt, cool, I will believe you, but you doing too much, miss. You scrunching up your face, you hunched over. Sure enough, next day I walk in the bathroom, homegirl's bent over all the way, like tying her shoes. She see me, she bet, oh, come on, miss, stop it. So that's who James remind me of. Like, he was overacting. He's overplaying the sympathy face thing. Like the, oh, I'm in so much agony, right? That's my first problem with James. My second problem with James is he's like Wade, where he says, oh, I didn't remember that I was molested. I didn't realize I was molested until I saw Wade. And then I thought, oh, maybe I should look into that too. Okay. So Wade comes out in 2013 with his allegations. A year later, that's when James Safechuck joins the lawsuit. Okay. Could we talk to Stephanie Safechuck? Stephanie, step forward, mommy. I want to have a word with you, Miss Safechuck, Mrs. Safechuck, Mrs. Stephanie Safechuck. Mama, before you get on a documentary, this ain't a documentary, before you are on camera, I'm gonna need you to take some acting lessons, boo-boo. That was the worst case of acting I ever seen, if I've ever seen bad acting. It looked like, y'all ever seen that clip on the internet where it's like one of them Indian Bollywood films where the dude gets shot and he's like, remember that? That's how bad dude's mom's acting was. I'm gonna tell you why. Let me try to. And I was laying in bed and I heard the news come on that he had died, and I jumped and I said, yes, thank God he's dead. He can't hurt any more children. I was so glad that he died. Stephanie. Besides the bad acting, it was really good. Matter of fact, take a look.
I danced when I heard that he died. I was laying in bed. The news came on. I got out of bed and I was, oh, thank God he can't hurt any more children. Those were my thoughts. And I danced. He can't hurt any more children. I was so happy he died.
I have several problems with this. Let me bring it back. James said that he didn't realize he was molested until 2013, at which time he told his family, including Stephanie, his mama. If he didn't tell his mama until 2014 or 2013 that Michael Jackson molested him, what was Stephanie dancing for in 2009? Because up until that point, you didn't think or know that he had allegedly done anything to your child. You was cool with Michael. He had been a great influence in your life by 2009. So can we get our story straight, Stephanie and James? Which was it? Did you always know you were molested and you told your mom and that's why she was happy Michael died in 2009? Or she forgot and Dan Reed didn't catch it and it ended up in the movie and now y'all are dumb? I think that's really what it is, Stephanie. So Stephanie, take some acting lessons, get your facts straight, and go have several seats and kick a couple of rocks while you at it. Next, with James. Okay, so part of the film he says they had a fake wedding ceremony and Michael bought him a ring. Is that the... Okay. You saved the ring, why exactly? Why you saved the ring for? Because this again points to the fact that, so you didn't know as a grown man that something was wrong with that, if that allegedly happened, and you still have the ring allegedly, but you just figured out in 2014 that something was wrong with that? I'm confused. And supposedly y'all broke wedding vows. Where are they? You saved the ring. Where are the vows that you allegedly... I'm sorry, could you not forge his signature? Could you not forge his handwriting? Because we all know Michael has some messy handwriting, so it's cute to say that. It's cute to say that y'all wrote something. You don't have any proof. I don't know where you got that ring from. Gumball machine? Did anybody appraise? Do we have an appraisal? Dan? Yo, Dan? Do we have an appraisal on that ring? I don't even... Come on, man. Have a seat, James. Stop making that face. You look constipated. It's alright. So yeah, leaving Neverland, man. They should have left that on the cutting room floor. There's so much more I feel like I could say about this topic. I could go on probably for hours about it. Oprah, I mean, she's clearly a snake. I don't really know what else there is to say about Oprah. Everybody's seen her interview with Michael, and then, you know, after he passed away, she got the exclusive interview with his kids. You know, I'm sorry to his children that you guys are being exposed to this so many years later. But what I do know is that I'll continue to stand up for Michael Jackson. He was a huge part of my childhood. He was a huge part of my life. And I think it's really ignorant for people to kind of say to people like me, oh, you're just blind because you love his music and you're condoning that behavior. Bro, listen, I think I could say along with other Michael Jackson fans that if for a second we believed any of the garbage, nobody could stand behind that. It's just been nonsense and nothing has ever been proven. And so to tie it all back, in the end, he's not R. Kelly. There is no tangible proof. He was acquitted in 2005 in the Arbizo case. They never had enough evidence or any evidence at all in the Jordan Chandler case. And Wade testified in 2005 and also gave a statement in 93 that nothing happened. It wasn't until Wade didn't get hired for the Cirque du Soleil performance that he all of a sudden remembered that he was molested. So, with that said, man, comment below. Follow me on Instagram at rednyc_. I'm sure I'm going to get an earful, but it's nothing I never heard before. So, to Michael, rest in peace. I know it's hard to do when these people keep dragging your name through the mud, but you have an army of people out here that are fighting for you, not only your family, but your fans and your close friends. So with that said, there's never going to be a time where y'all get to cancel Michael Jackson. Y'all will never mute Michael Jackson. He's a powerhouse, bruh. And your ratings was ass. Leaving Neverland ratings was in the toilet. I think it got beat out by like some burger show or some rerun of some food show or something like that. Like, yo, it didn't do what y'all thought it was going to do. The media narrative, remember, it's like 3 entities that control the media and control what you see. So if they want to feed you the narrative that Michael Jackson is canceled or that all these people are saying this stuff about Michael Jackson, that is the narrative of 3 powerhouse media companies. That's it. That's not, it's like saying Donald Trump won the election. He didn't. The popular vote on the ground, he lost. So let's think of it that way. Michael Jackson's winning the popular vote. It's the ignorant ones with a voice that have a platform. So keep on moonwalking. Never give up. Keep loving your heart. And don't let the haters, man, don't let them get to you. Alright? Little moonwalkers, keep moonwalking, yo. Alright? Leaving Neverland is trash. It's trash. That's it. Dan Reed, bruh. In the words of my girl Leah, dust yourself off and try again, bruh. You failed. We out.